Hi everyone. Today I'm going to start with database and how to create tables, and we want to use those tables as part of our web APIs and .NET projects. So let's go through first with the database tables creation, and then the later sessions we will cover about how do we do that with .NET projects. So I'm currently using the SQL Server. If you have an SQL Server, you can type with SSMS, which is installed, and then it takes you to the SQL Server um, Management Studio. Okay, now connect the database. We have something. Okay, all right. So now this is the database, and if you want to connect, so you can click on connect and database engine and give the login ID and password by using the SQL Server authentication. Then once you go to this, and we already have a database which is a test.db, where I can use by click on the new query, and then I want to create some kind of the tables. Um, okay, first let's start with some lookup tables, and then we'll go with regular tables. The lookup table is something like a which is already have a predefined data which is available in the lookup tables. The mainly these tables that we talk about mostly to keep maintain the servers information. Um, okay, let's creating the table by using the create table tbl server type. Server type id integer identity of 1 comma 1 and not null. So I want to create server type id as a primary key for this table. So that's why I just keep it as an identity. It increments like while inserting the data. Usually it goes incrementing IDs by one, and the not null. I want to keep it as a not null. And server type var of 10 and description. Description var of 50. Table, and then putting the constraint primary key and server type primary key clustered. So I can talk about the clustered and non-clustered indexes. So by default for the primary key, usually they create as a clustered index. And it is server type ID ascending order. So the data will keep inserting into the ascending order. And then let's go. Let's create this syntax server description, and I missed the closing bracket. Then execute by click on the either F5 or execute button. So now it is created the table. Then let's try with start from server type. So you could see the server type ID, server type, and server description. The same thing that you can check it by refreshing on the test database and go to the tables. Then you could see the table server type. And now I want to insert the data into the table. Insert into table server type. And since we don't need the ID because it usually the identity, so it creates by the system. And then all I need is I need to use the server type and the description. And then values, app server, application server. And I'm giving this, then now insert by selecting this statement and then execute. String or binary data should be truncated. Since this is a 50 characters, I cannot use more than that. To run ETL, to run ETL process. Okay, now it's created, and then you can go back and select and see like whether it is created. Yep. Since it is a number 2 because the first attempt is failed, so basically that one identity ID is been gone and the second one is created. And the same thing for another record, which is a web server, and then create another record by using DB server, the database server. Let's make it as server, and then LDAP server, LDAP server, active directory server. Since this is a 10 characters, so it is truncating. So now what I will do is let's do the alter statement. Alter table, table name, alter column, server type where care of 15. So now it is increased. Let's go back and see, and now can insert this. So the alter table, alter column that I used, if any data types limits from 10 to 15 if you want to increase or decrease. So now you can use this statement either to increasing or decreasing. Okay, so now we have inserted the data. Sorry. So now we inserted all these four. I want to update. This is not an application server, it's a web server. So let me write the update statement. Update table server type and set whatever the column that we are updating. So we have to update here the server description equal to, and then just put the web server used to host websites. Okay, and then we need to know which record you are really updating. So in this case, the record is number 3, where server type ID equal to 3. So now you can select on it and then either click on execute or F5. So now go back to the select Terraform and then you can see this. And also I can update the database server, which is create database objects. Then server type is 4. Now you can click on F5. Now go back and see. Okay, alright. So pretty much I covered the create table and the select statement and insert into, and then alter, and then update. So mostly we use this, these are the ones. And if you want to use the delete statement and then delete from where server type ID equal to 4, for example, if I'm deleting 5, then you can use this. Since you do not have any records, it's only deletes the 0 records. That's all pretty much to cover with creating, updating, inserting, deleting, and the select statements. Now let's go back to create another table in order to use for the server's information to maintain. And let's create another table, which is table operating system. Sorry, every table name I starts with the TBL so that when you go and expand here, you could see all the naming conventions with the TBL, which is related to the tables, so that it differentiate the tables and views and everything. Okay, now go back to this and creating the table operating system. Then open and close braces and OS type ID integer and identity of 1, and not null, and then OS type care of 10 stack OS description care of 50. So now I need to create primary key on the table. Now let's start with the constraint pk OS type ID primary key clustered, then OS type ID is in ascending order ASC, and then go now create the table. So now it is created the table. Let's put the select star from. So this is a OS type ID, OS type, and the description. Now you can insert into the table. Insert into OS and OS type, OS description, and then values, which is so basically OS or whether Windows Linux and iOS. So let's create one by one. Then execute. So now let's go back and select and see. Now it is created one. And then copy the same insert statement and change it to the Linux. And now insert. And then copy the same thing. Then iOS. And the last one that I am creating, Solaris. Okay, now you can go back and see these are the records. You could see all the 4 records. Now let's go back to the another table. Create table contacts, table contact. So this will create the contact details. Contact ID integer, identity of 1, 1, not null, and first name varchar of first name maybe 15 characters or say 25, and last name is also 25 characters. Then email 50, then phone varchar of 15. I would say 20 is active, bit either true or false. It stores the true or false, and the employee ID integer and last updated time. Small date time is good enough. So it only stores the hours and minutes, the date. So now create the primary key, then constraint primary key contact primary key clustered contact ID ASC sending order, and then it creates the table contact. Let's go back, select star from the table contact. Then it creates the table. Now insert into table contact. So in order to copy all the column names, all you need to do is select the table name and then click on Alt F1. It gives you all the list of column names and the contact IDs and the constraint types, which is a primary key and all these details. Now I want to copy all these columns, putting over here one by one. The comma separated. Okay, and then values where I can give and One number, email.com, and phone number 111. Let's create 1111111 000 and 22200 is active, true, active one, and employee ID which is employee ID 100200, and then get date so that it updates the latest date. So now insert, so hopefully it inserts the one of the record, and then it's the same thing to insert rest of the records, which is and okay, let's keep the 333 444 300 400. Okay, now insert. Now let's go back. So now I inserted here. Let's finally want to create one more table, which is create table, the table server. Already integer identity of 1, and not null, and server name varchar of 50, host name varchar of 50, IP address varchar of, basically the IP address or something like 11.111.111.111.123.4 12 plus 3 15. Okay, let's take only the 15 address, and since we are using the other references, which is a server type ID from the server type table, and also the contact ID, sorry, the OS type ID. OS type ID is from the operating system table, and then contact ID is from the contact table. Use this, and call out process varchar of 100 maintained by the servers which are maintained by varchar of 50. And maintained by, and last updated time, which is small date time. And let's create constraint primary key server, primary key clustered, and server ID ASC, then go. Okay, now created the table server, and now select start from table server, and I could see all the tables and created. Now go back to C and here and the refresh the test DB, and then you could see all the tables, which is Let me take this off, rename, wait a second, GZ, and rename to ZZ, and then rename to GZ. The one why I'm doing is so that those are all it goes to the deleting some point of time. Rename, and then and also when you refresh, so basically that goes to the end, so that we are clear, like the top, which are the 4 tables, are ours. So now, so this is created, and in bit a second I want to create a foreign case. Let me get hold of for a minute. Okay, I'm back, and now what we want to do is, since these server type ID and OS type ID and contact ID, I want to create a references from the other table, which is a foreign keys. If you go back here, and you could see the keys, which is right now you have only primary key, and that you could see here. Same thing for server, which is here, but we could not see the foreign keys. Now in a bit a second, I want to create a foreign keys. What you have to do is alter table server, add constraint foreign key. So when you're creating the foreign key, basically you have to keep the naming conventions, which is a foreign key, and what is the source table and the destination table. So here basically the one which is a table is the server, and then server type is the destination table where we are taking the reference. Foreign key of the key ID is server type ID, which is this one, the server type ID. Then references, what it is referencing is the table server type, which is there here, the table server type of the column is server type ID. Now let's, before you're running, and you could see here also where by clicking on the Alt F1, by pressing Alt F1, you could see only one constraint is available, which is on the server type ID, which is a primary key. Now if I'm creating this, now you could see by selecting Alt F1 again, and then you could see there was a foreign key which is created on top of this. So now if you can go back here, and if you refresh, you could also see here, which is a server type, which is a foreign key. It's kind of like a bit difference from the foreign key and foreign primary key. So you could see something like that. And now let's create the same way to other two, which is a OS type ID. Let's put the OS type ID here, and the server and the OS type, the table name is operating system. I want to use the same name, operating system table, operating system OS type ID. OS type ID. Then now execute system foreign key and OS type ID references a table server type and OS type ID. Now execute. Now you can go back to Alt F1 and you can verify it. There was another foreign key which is created operating system. Now the last foreign key that we can create, which is contact contact ID, and then the same thing you can use here in the table contact. And now you can execute here. Now you can go back and check by pressing the Alt F1 and then contact table. The same thing if you go to the Object Explorer, or there is another way to go to the Object Explorer, go to the view and then click on the Object Explorer or F8. So now if I go back here and then when I refresh, now I could see all the foreign keys and you could see the keys here with the namings, proper namings. Now we are covered pretty much to how to create the tables, foreign keys, primary keys, and the references and altering the tables. So to recap for today's session, so these are the first thing. First I created the table, then looking for select star from with the table names and how to insert the table with the data. And then if you need any columns to be modified, the columns or column lengths to be modified, you can use the alter table. And then using the update statement in order to update any of the data from any records. And then delete statement where you can use if you want to delete any specific records. So followed the same thing for all the other, and I hope you are pretty much get good knowledge about how to create the tables and inserting the data and creating the primary keys and foreign keys and altering the tables. Okay, thanks for watching and thanks for listening. We'll go back into the next session in the next day. Thank you. Bye.